Hello and welcome to your Macon-Bibb Beat, your one-stop shop for all your Macon-Bibb County news. I'm Frank Malloy. Each week we take you through what's happening in your neighborhood, from North Macon to South Bibb and everywhere in between. We begin with Macon-Bibb County taking a step towards laying the groundwork for a new downtown hotel and convention center. The county released a request for qualifications to build both developments on and around First Street downtown. That's the site of the old Ramada Hotel. They're looking for developers to design, finance, and build the projects, along with parking across the street. Maggie Fitzgerald talked with county leaders and breaks down the vision for that site.
The site is clean and the grass is green here at 108 First Street. Now, county leaders are looking to transform this side of downtown as part of the bigger goal of bringing new faces to Macon. It started with a New Year's blast. Now, 6 months later, a ready-to-build plot. It was the plan Macon-Bibb leaders envisioned when they bought the old hotel site in 2024, after years of neglect.
The fact that that hotel went defunct when it did harmed our ability to grow quicker.
And now a glimpse of what this side of town could look like within a few years.
We needed some new facilities to bring in tourism, which brings in dollars to our community, which allows us to provide more services for everybody. This allows us to keep those conventions that we may lose to other places.
A convention center at Walnut and First Street and a brand new hotel and parking deck to replace the county parking lot along Walnut. They would accompany other retail and residential developments along Riverside Drive.
I think as we continue to bring new people into our community, have new developments like this, and I think it's going to attract even more businesses to come to the area, more jobs.
And it's a project with an impact that spreads miles.
That investment, that increase in value that's coming from our downtown, then extends out to help develop the rest of our community in a sustainable way.
Now, we do know that Barks and Brews here on Riverside Drive will have to move as part of the overall project. Now, business owners tell me tonight it's still unclear where that move will be. In Macon, Maggie Fitzgerald, 13 WMAZ News.
The request for qualifications is open for 30 days. That means companies interested in the hotel project must apply by July 17th. A key suspect in 3 murders outside a West Macon bar remains in the Bibb County Jail. The South Carolina Highway Patrol arrested 25-year-old Macon Bond III late last month. He was booked into the Bibb jail after being extradited from Columbia, South Carolina. Maggie Fitzgerald was at Bond's recent hearing and breaks down the latest in the case.
Today marks 1 month since that deadly mass shooting outside of Midtown Daiquiri Bar and Grill in West Macon. But it also marks the first day the 3 suspects in custody are all under one roof here at the Bibb County Jail.
Good afternoon. I'm Judge St. Clair. This is your initial appearance here before the Magistrate Court in Macon-Bibb County.
It comes nearly 3 weeks after Macon Bond III was arrested during a traffic stop in South Carolina. He's the first murder suspect to be arrested in connection with the May 18th shooting, and he joins 17-year-old Travis Glover, who is charged with 3 counts of murder, and 28-year-old Jarius Curry, charged with 5 counts of aggravated assault. Last week, investigators were also searching for a 4th suspect, 25-year-old Christopher Valentine. Coroner Leon Jones told us he was found dead with a self-inflicted gunshot wound. None of the 3 remaining suspects have a bond, and Macon Bond joined today's hearing via Zoom because he's currently separated from other inmates. He listened as Judge Jerome Sinclair read his charges here in Georgia for the first time, which includes 2 counts of aggravated assault, discharging a firearm near a public highway or street.
And there's 3 separate warrants. All 3 of the warrants are labeled for murder. You understand the 5 charges being presented against you? Yes, sir.
Bond did not say much during today's hearing. However, he did say he has not spoken to his lawyer since being brought back to Georgia. Now, all 3 suspects will be scheduled for individual commitment hearings. That's where investigators are expected to reveal more details behind each of their roles in the case. In Macon, Maggie Fitzgerald, 13 WMAZ News.
Bibb Sheriff's Office still looking for a person of interest connected to the case. They released photos of the person. If you recognize him, you're asked to call the Bibb County Sheriff's Office or Macon Regional Crime Stoppers at 1-877-68-CRIME. A Macon defense lawyer challenging prosecutors' statements on why a jury recently acquitted 2 suspects. Jeffrey Hunter Jr., Kaylin Johnson, and Jadarius Meadows were indicted for malice murder, felony murder, and aggravated assault in 2018. Meadows was one of the 3 victims shot and killed outside West Macon's Midtown Daiquiri Bar and Grill last month. While the DA's office says Meadows would have played a vital role in Hunter and Johnson's trial, Hunter's lawyers say otherwise.
The state pretending that he was their witness and he was going to tie this case up for them is just wrong.
Criminal defense lawyer Travis Griffin sharing a glimpse into the weeks leading up to a long-awaited murder trial. His client, Jeffrey Hunter Jr., now walking free, acquitted of all charges on Tuesday after serving 6 years in the Bibb County Jail. The DA's office claims it's because the case went to trial without a key witness, 28-year-old Jadarius Meadows.
And as far as we can tell, the state had no intention of even calling him as a witness, and that he was not subpoenaed. He was not obligated to testify.
Hunter, along with Meadows and Kaylin Johnson, were originally indicted for the shooting death of 33-year-old Danny Causey. Meadows pleaded guilty in 2022 and was sentenced to 10 years, with only serving 2 years on probation. But in a press release sent to 13 WMAZ, DA Anita Howard said Meadows still had a role in the trial to testify that Hunter was involved in Causey's killing. Griffin denies the claim and says Meadows was actually a defense witness for Hunter.
The assertion that Jadarius Meadows' death is the reason that the DA's office lost this case is just patently absurd. My guy sat in jail for 6.5 years just to be acquitted at trial with 5 alibis, 2 of which are known to the police the whole time.
According to the DA, the jury found insufficient evidence to prove Hunter was guilty. Griffin's biggest takeaway? A, quote, conscientious jury that he says listened to evidence.
We're just extremely happy that Mr. Hunter was able to find justice, and we're glad that he's at home with his family.
That was Maggie Fitzgerald reporting. Because Meadows could not testify, Kaylin Johnson took the stand. He claimed self-defense and put the blame on Meadows. He testified Hunter was not involved in the shooting. Johnson was acquitted of murder but convicted of aggravated assault. He was sentenced to 60 years with 25 to serve. Some business owners along Pionona Avenue say they're fed up after years of dealing with break-ins, vandalism, and what they call slow response times. Naomi Washington breaks down why they say police calls and reports just aren't cutting it anymore.
While running First Choice Auto Sales the past 6 years, owner Eric Jones says they've run into a long list of crimes.
Primarily theft, breaking in the facility, the back fence, cutting holes in the fence, stealing the copper out the wires while the power's still on.
Jones says when he calls the Bibb County Sheriff's Office, it takes them a couple hours to respond. The auto lot has about 20 cameras now, but Jones says it doesn't stop thieves from showing up.
We done lost maybe $100,000 in vandalism.
Jones calls the neighborhood around his business a crime hotspot, and he wants the county to help him and other business owners protect their property from vandals.
They need to have an officer in this area pretty much all day and definitely all night.
Jones and the manager at You Save It Pharmacy say it's often homeless people and teenagers committing the crime.
They've busted out all the windows on the front of the pharmacy, busted out the windows of our delivery car, and busted out the touch screen on it. They were not necessarily trying to steal the car, they were just doing damage.
Like Jones, Sally Brown says they've taken matters into their own hands. The pharmacy put up a guard around their outdoor AC unit, private property signs, and extra locks on doors.
We have had a couple times where it's kind of been written off, and we've had to call back and get somebody out here a second time in order to actually get the police report and stuff.
The businesses say they love the community, but enough is enough.
When they done came and stole and vandalized hundreds of times, you know, it kind of discouraged you.
Reporting in Macon, Naomi Washington, 13 WMAZ News.
Meanwhile, a Macon woman sounding the alarm on car thefts after her car was recently stolen from her front yard. According to the National Insurance Crime Bureau, more than 800,000 vehicles were stolen in the U.S. last year. 1,200 were stolen in Macon-Bibb County. Maggie Fitzgerald talked with the woman about her journey to getting her car back.
Amanda Holloway's car was towed here to Kitchen's garage after a deputy found it abandoned less than a mile from her home. And while she's grateful to have her car back, she says the entire ordeal left her feeling
violated. I just feel violated because it's like you had some stranger come in your yard, get in your vehicle, and drive away with it.
It was the first time something like this happened to Holloway and her family. Her 2012 Hyundai Elantra smashed in and stolen from her front yard on Father's Day. She says she spent the last week following up with authorities after realizing her incident report was not immediately submitted due to systems being down at the sheriff's office. While we are still learning why their systems were down, the sheriff's office confirms their systems are back up today. Despite filing a report, Holloway discovered her stolen vehicle had been towed and was sitting at Kitchen's tow yard for days. While she's still wondering why she wasn't notified about her vehicle being found, she's now hoping to stay vigilant to prevent future thefts.
I think cameras are a great thing because I have none. I'm getting some. If I had cameras that night, at least I would have been able to identify and go to that person and say, look, I know you took my things. I want them back. Maybe not call the police. I don't know.
In Macon, Maggie Fitzgerald, 13, WMAZ News.
A study from the U.S. Bureau of Justice Statistics says property crimes increased by nearly 10% in the summer months. Last year, 13% of stolen cars in Bibb County were Hyundais, about 18% were Kias. Macon-Bibb leaders taking steps to tackle Macon's housing needs right now and into the future. Planning and zoning leaders want your feedback on a housing study. Maggie Fitzgerald sat down with the executive director to learn more about his vision for the county's housing landscape.
Affordable housing and redevelopment are top priorities for county leaders and their Macon Action Plan. And it's projects like this one here in Pleasant Hill that they hope will help ease that ongoing demand for housing in and around Macon. From blight to builds, county leaders say growth is on the horizon, and County Planner Jeff Ruggieri says they're going to be prepared for it.
What we don't want to do is be reactive in any way, so we want to get out ahead of that. Again, understanding what our housing market looks like. Where's the market going with housing? Smaller lots, attached housing, detached housing at a smaller scale.
A major growth area, the north side of town, which Ruggieri says is growing at a faster rate than Macon's southern half. It's findings like this that will provide a more detailed glimpse of Macon's future housing landscape, which is why he's teamed up with Virginia-based RKG Associates to evaluate current housing conditions in Macon and forecast a future demand.
We don't want to miss that. When the market comes, it comes in bubbles, as we know. It comes highs and lows. We want to make sure that we're prepared for the next high.
The team is now in their third month of assessing Macon's demographics. That includes analyzing the population, varying income levels of homeowners and renters, job market trends, while also balancing other financial and economic-based needs. Ruggieri says it's all in an effort to stay ahead of the game, to understand who's coming to Macon and what housing they'll need.
It's all about just creating a higher standard of living and a greater sense of place for people. So that's what we do.
And Ruggieri says the ultimate goal of the plan is to provide that future outlook of how Macon could grow nearly 2 to 3 decades into the future. And he says more community events are expected to be held later this year. In Macon, Maggie Fitzgerald, 13, WMAZ News.
Now, that study will continue through the remainder of the year with findings to drop once it's finished. Ruggieri says it will help project housing through 2050. Financing problems could delay an entertainment complex planned south of downtown. Last year, we told you about the Yard on 7th Street. It would include mini golf, pickleball, a music venue, and other amenities. It would all go on a 22-acre site that also contains a historic train coal tower. The development says they've had work crews clearing this site, but he says financing for the Yard has run into some roadblocks. He says they may choose to break the project into phases so they can proceed one step at a time. So far, no word on when construction could possibly get underway. State highway workers are talking about staying safe in construction zones. A highway worker recently died after being hit on I-75 South. It happened in a construction zone in Dooley County. Safety officials want drivers to be aware of workers who should be wearing bright colors to increase visibility. Ellie Milliken talked with workers about construction zone safety.
Jarrell McCormick knows his way around a construction zone. He's been in construction for 5 years. He says every time he's the flagger or working on a site, it can be scary.
I had my hand out, stop sign up. You got your guys that be texting, talking on the phone, weren't paying attention. And they probably came about the distance we're standing about right now before they came to a complete stop.
On Tuesday morning, the Dooley County coroner says a construction worker was hit by a vehicle and died. He was working on I-75 South where crews were replacing guardrails. McCormick says drivers need to be more alert.
Be cautious, watch your surroundings, and be mindful of, the workers that are out here, because, we got families too that we go home to every day.
Foreman Alvin Burke agrees. He's worked in construction for 40 years and says each day is a risk. He tells his guys to be cautious.
Be safe, watch your back, watch each other's back. Just, be mindful of what you're doing.
Burke says one of his workers almost got hit the other day. McCormick says he tries to always be aware.
Keep your hands free of a phone, pay attention to your distance of your cars, always have you an extra vehicle where you're working at your station, stand behind it, just always keep your eyes open.
Will Volk with the Georgia Department of Transportation says stay attentively in a work zone or construction zone.
These work zones, they can pop up anywhere. So anytime you see the orange, though, you need to expect the unexpected.
In Baldwin County, Ellie Milliken, 13 WMAZ News.
Georgia State Patrol says the Dooley County hit and run is still under investigation. State laws say speeding in a construction zone on the highway is a misdemeanor. Those convicted can be fined up to $2,000. Many folks in Macon know all too well what it's like waiting for the bus in the Georgia heat, which we're experiencing right now, or even the rain. One manufacturer is trying to do something about it. He's been cutting costs, bending steel, and building a better way to wait. Faria Habrar says it started as a simple idea that turned into a citywide effort, and it's a powerful example of giving back, straight from the heart.
If you want something done right,
we're only able to get one bus stop donated.
Build it yourself.
But I felt like we could do better in Macon.
Cutting through red tape and steel for a greater good.
Problem was that they can't afford the bus stops. Right? $35,000 a bus stop is a tremendous amount of money for any town.
But it's a problem Eric Williams is working to solve with a promise.
I went and met with the Macon Transit Authority and said, hey, I have this crazy idea. Would you be willing to let me donate some bus stops to you? And they kind of laughed and they're like, are you joking? And I was like, no, I'm serious. I want to donate some bus stops to you. They're like, yeah, of course you can donate bus stops to us.
A mission motivated not by profit, but purpose.
So I grew up watching my grandma take the bus to and from work. If she had to go to the store, it was the bus. And in Canton, we just didn't have a lot of bus stops. If it was snowing, if it was raining, she just had to stand in the rain or the snow, and that was hard to watch.
And etched in his memory. So, in Grandma Joanne Marzano's memory, Williams spearheaded the project to bring 15 bus stop shelters and signs around Macon. As the CEO of Prince Service and Manufacturing, he says this is more than business. It's about dignity.
Do more than just sign a check. Get involved. Make a product or a service or something that actually leaves an impact on the community and those that really need it.
From raw American steel and concrete to textured black finish and blue glaze, this donation comes with no strings attached, just a whole lot of sweat and soul. Each one a symbol. Of shelter, yes, but also of service, community, and legacy.
I think she'd be really proud to see me make this impact in the community that I'm in now, to make sure that these men and women who are using public transit, it'd be amazing to celebrate this with my grandmother, but I think that she would be just incredibly proud of.
Proud, protectful, and he believes watching the shelters from above. Reporting in Macon, Faria Habrar, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, they tell Faria they are in the final phases of the project. He says the bus stop shelters should go up at stops around Macon in the next few months and bring a much more comfortable wait for Macon Transit Authority riders. Folks in Bibb County recently celebrated Juneteenth, a federal holiday that marks the end of slavery. To celebrate Juneteenth, downtown Macon was alive with music, marching, and meaning as the city celebrated its third annual Juneteenth parade and tailgate party. The homecoming-themed event was organized by Macon Black Culture and honored Black excellence and freedom.
We finally get a day of freedom, and we fought so hard. So let us celebrate. We're out, we're having fun. It's life, it's fun,
Yeah, folks told us it was a great time and a great way to honor the history of Juneteenth.
It makes me feel good to be Black. The atmosphere is always warm and welcoming. As a culture, we're very nurturing. We're all inclusive. So even if you're not a part of our community, we highly encourage you to come out and support us and celebrate with us.
The community-wide celebration was capped off with fireworks at the Tubman Museum. Speaking of the Tubman, it hosted more than 50 children at their Camp Milestone Juneteenth celebration. There were tours, educational videos, and activity sheets. They also ate red foods for lunch, part of a tradition symbolizing the sacrifice of their ancestors.
Sometimes knowing where you came from, knowing that you have such a rich history, it's my right, it's my responsibility to uphold the heritage that our forefathers provided for us today.
And also, folks gathered at Dublin's Market on Madison to celebrate Juneteenth. Families relaxed on the lawn, enjoying live music and dancing. Food, drinks, and sweets were also available from local vendors, along with arts and crafts booths. Meanwhile, children had a blast in bounce houses and playing cornhole.
By being a United States retired Marine, it means a lot to get our country to recognize it and finally bring some recognition to the reason for it and to pass it on to the younger people.
Bibb County School Board approved the final 2026 budget. It's nearly $400 million, includes salary increases, new positions, and a $20 million deficit. The board voted to create a truancy coordinator and a K-5 English language arts coordinator. Members say the new jobs will address reading and attendance challenges. Plus, they hope to combat retention obstacles by giving certified staff a 3% raise. School Superintendent Dan Sims says this plan paves the way to a solid future for Bibb students.
We look forward to getting in the think tank and continuing to think through what that's going to look like for this new year. And we're excited about plans we've already engaged in and just look forward to continued planning. And it's going to take the entire community, so the community just needs to get ready because I'm calling on everybody to assist us in attendance and literacy.
The new budget takes effect July 1st, funds the school district through June 30th of next year. Summer break is here in Bibb County. Law enforcement teaming up to keep children safe and having fun while learning. Students recently participated in a free summer safe camp hosted by the Sheriff's Office and Campus Police at Ballard Hudson Middle School. They say it is all about learning fun and building trust in the community.
Well, it's an opportunity for us to bond with the kids and to show them and guide them. You know, our children face a lot of challenges with just everyday life, social media, and just being bullied in school. So it's an opportunity for us to love on the kids, show them and teach them things that will make them successful in life.
And professional soccer in the spotlight in Macon. Sammy Costas explains how the Los Angeles Football Club joined up with Mercer University for a youth clinic.
Over 100 kids came out to learn from some of the best for free. Members of the Black and Gold shared their wisdom with the next generation of soccer stars alongside the Mercer Bears.
Just to kind of give our thanks and appreciation for having us here in the city.
The young players ranged from 4th to 7th graders. They ran drills and learned skills on the 5-star turf.
Seeing it come together, it's beautiful. I think soccer brings our communities together no matter where we come from, different states, different cities.
Bridget Flores is the foundation manager and curator for the event. She says it's a great opportunity to foster more passion for the sport.
Knowing that we have Club World Cup going on right now, we have the World Cup just shy away from a year. It's been awesome. The kids have been great, and what more can we do than give them an opportunity to just play soccer and love the game even more.
It was a quick turnaround. LAFC and Mercer put the camp together in just 2 weeks. I talked with LAFC head coach Steve Sharundalo ahead of the no-cost clinic. He's keeping an eye out for effort and enthusiasm.
Very clear, tomorrow's stars, and we're hoping to see some excitement. We're hoping to see some kids who want to learn something new, and I think we can do our part in sharing what we do on a daily basis, and we'd just love to get back to the community.
What's the goal for tonight?
To answer as many questions as possible, to show them some new things, and my scouting eye is always wandering, so maybe we'll find the next LAFC player. I don't know.
The result was exactly what the organizers had hoped for.
Macon community came, showed up, showed out. We appreciate that. We have more than 100 kids here today, and we couldn't have asked for any more positivity. They're super excited to be here. We had a quick Q&A with our players and head coach, and the kids asked amazing questions. That's all we ask for, right? They engage, that they're curious, and that they play the game and they try their best.
And while Mercer and LAFC put on a show not only in Macon and Atlanta, there was another fellow with Central Georgia ties repping the big city. Austin Cox returned to the big leagues for the Braves. Former FPD standout stepped on the mound against the Marlins Sunday afternoon. And to help get the Braves out of a jam with 2 strikeouts, Cox also played college baseball at Mercer. And a Macon baseball staple receiving a new addition, Luther Williams Field turns 96 this summer, a place several baseball greats played, one of the most notable being Jackie Robinson, whose jersey is now retired.
Jackie Robinson is something that we can all agree on is a baseball great.
Robinson wore the number 42 throughout his baseball career, a career that led him to the Macon landmark Luther Williams Field.
It's amazing that Jackie Robinson played in this field.
Robinson suited up for an exhibition game at the field back in 1949. It was a matchup between the then Macon Peaches and Brooklyn Dodgers. His participation in the battle on the diamond broke the color barrier for Georgia 2 years after his first game in the majors. Robinson made a difference in the sport and the community that fans continue to respect.
As a lifelong baseball fan, I mean, Jackie Robinson is the epitome of baseball. Not just obviously breaking the color barrier in 1947, but the history that's shown and how it's paved the way for so many amazing people to be able to do what they really love and enjoy.
I think that's amazing. Jackie Robinson has done so much for baseball and for, just culture entirely.
Managing partner and team president Brandon Raphael says it was due time to put 42 on the wall.
For us to be able to do this on this night in front of all of our fans and officially put something on the wall that shows the retirement of his jersey, it's a special moment. Whether you love baseball or not, the community or not, he has his mark on Macon, he has his mark on Georgia, all throughout the world, so we are blessed to be able to have that opportunity.
Robinson wasn't the only great to grace Luther Williams Field.
Not just Jackie Robinson, but Hank Aaron, Ted Williams, Joe DiMaggio, Pete Rose, Chipper Jones, Andrew Jones, all those guys played here. And so for us, all throughout the ballpark, we honor those that have come before us here. And that's important to honor the history of Luther Williams Field.
The Macon Bacon is sure to share the rich history with current players, so they can respect and honor those who came before them, too.
Now, Sammy Costas reporting, and that is the final note in this week's edition of the Macon-Bibb Beat. If you have a Macon-Bibb County story you would like us to share, email news@13wmaz.com and make sure you come back every Wednesday to get all the news and stories that matter to you. Thanks for joining us for this week's Macon-Bibb Beat.